Okay.
Right? All right. Hi, this is Azriel Lawless. And once again, you found yourself right square in Hella Vella. And today we are going to talk with author MJ Flournoy. And she also goes by Melba Moon. She's got a lot of great stories out on Kindle Vella and as well as Kindle Unlimited. I'm very excited to introduce you today to Melba, MJ Flournoy. Say hi.
Hey there. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm just thrilled to talk to you. The first question I ask all the Vella authors is, how did you get started on Vella? How'd you hear about it and how'd you get yourself in there?
Well, I got an email from KDP way back, I think in March, when they were just thinking about doing it, inviting me to write for it because I do have books on Kindle Unlimited. And I thought, hey, this sounds like something that I would enjoy doing. And so I started putting stories up on there, and it was like 3 months later before they ever started publishing. So the moment that they went live, I think I had 3 stories.
Wow. Wow, you are a powerhouse writer, and that's what we're going to talk about next. I want to know what your first story was up there.
Okay, the first story on Vella was The Harvester.
Oh, I love that story. That one, I believe I'm caught up with that one. Would you like to tell us about that and tell us about what it's about, where you got the idea?
Okay, The Harvester is set in, I believe it's 2436. And the premise is that humanity has just about done a number on itself. And because of and I started writing this, guys, way before any of the viruses now. But a virus has affected the male population. And if something's not done about it, then they're going to cease to exist. And so time travel is a possibility. And so the harvester is one of those people who has a special gene where she can travel through time and her genes not be messed up because of it. And so she is one of the ones who is tasked with going back in time and harvesting specimens to bring to the future to rebuild the gene pool of the human race. And what they do is they target someone that they can find in history that had no descendants. If the DNA continues to exist, then it can't be used. So they need someone that at the time of their death, they had no children. And so she decides to harvest one person when the doctor she works for wants her to get another one. And she is opposed to getting that one because he was on one of the flights that went into the World Trade Center. And so she does what she calls a slingshot. And even though she does tag that man and send him, she goes into an office before the plane hits it and tags another specimen to send back. She makes a mistake though, because the person who is in the office is not the one she was supposed to have tagged.
I'm sure that anybody listening to this now understands why I am caught up on this story, and I love it so much. Where did you come up with this?
Oh, I think it came to me in a dream. I mean, usually a lot of my plots, I'll wake up and say, wow, where did I go? What was that? And, you know, and I traveled along with the harvester when she got the wrong man. And I was like, okay, where's this going?
Man, I am so impressed with this story and with just the outrageous imagination that it shows. It's wonderful. Okay, but you have a lot more, so we have to move on. What was the next one?
The next one was the Vampire's Ball.
That's one I didn't even know existed until today.
The Vampire's Ball is a doctor who works for the CDC. And the idea for that one came from the fact that I have a friend who works for the CDC. And you know how it is. You just go along with what if. And, you know, she inherits a farm in the North Georgia mountains from her great aunt. And when she arrives, there's a ball going on in the barn. And she thinks that it's just kids dressed up in costumes, but she could not be more wrong. And her aunt kept a shotgun in the house. It was loaded with rock salt. And the great aunt told her that, you know, that's all she needed was the rock salt. And so she goes out to the barn and shoots into the air rather than shooting at the people, because she thinks it's kids playing. And her next line is, in case you didn't know, rock salt is useless against vampires. So she's a scientist and she doesn't believe that they're real. So, you know, it takes a while for her to come to terms with that and to realize that her great aunt was the reign of the vampires, which is French for queen, and that she has inherited that position and she wants no part of it. And so she resisted until the banshee that killed her great aunt comes after her. And then she realizes that this vampire protector who has been protecting her all her life is her only hope to survive.
Wow. Amazing. I love it. I love it. And what do you call that? Is that what is that, a urban fantasy?
Yeah, I would think it's an urban fantasy because it's set in modern day and it's definitely a fantasy.
Right. Well, with vampires, I think so.
Well, you know, I say it's a fantasy. You can't ever tell, right?
You just don't ever know, because I subscribe to the belief that there's more things in heaven and earth that we do not know and cannot see than what we can. Our system, our field of vision is very narrow.
It is. And some of us, you know, have had weird experiences and, you know, have heard things and seen things. And so, yeah, like you say, there's more things than meets the eye.
I don't discount much of anything these days, I'll tell you that much. Now that's another one. I'm putting it on my reading list. That's the Vampire's Ball. That sounds like a lot of fun. How many episodes do you have on that one? I forgot to ask you about the Harvester too.
The Harvester has 13 and I'm working on 14.
Great.
And the Vampire's Ball has 14 and I'm working on 15.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, I've got it. Like I say, that's on my reading list. So what was number 3?
Okay. I think the next one would be The Missing Greek Heiress.
Wow, I thought it was going to be Gunner. Okay. So The Missing Greek Heiress, that's another one I had no idea was yours. What about that one?
That one was inspired by a cruise that my daughter and I took to the Greek Isles, and it's set on Mykonos. And, you know, it has the hero is looking for, he's looking for the missing heiress of his business partner. And little does he know she's landed right in his lap.
Wow.
So he doesn't know who she is and she doesn't know who he is. And they wind up kind of connecting, but he's trying to avoid a forced marriage and thinks if he finds her before her grandfather does, that, you know, he'll be able to avoid being forced into marrying her. And his idea is, well, I like this woman, maybe I'll marry her instead.
Nice. So is that like, what would you call that? Because romance has really changed over the years. What would you call that? Is that a modern romance, or what is that?
It's a modern contemporary romance, and it's not going to be sexy. It's going to be a sweet romance.
Okay, so a fade to black.
If I can keep it that way.
A fade. They get a life of their own sometimes.
Yeah. You can do a lot with the sexual tension without any graphic details on the page, and that's what I hope to do with that one.
Well, you must be a master at it. You have a lot of good works out here that have done great out on Kindle Unlimited as well. But we're still not through with your Vellas. How many episodes in The Missing Greek Heiress?
I think that one has 5.
Okay, cool. So that was just a baby, just getting started.
Yeah, it is. It's brand new. I've just started writing it. And like I said, it came from the fact that my daughter and I took a Greek cruise, and you know, all the hot dudes over there, and she was single, and so I was sitting back watching, you know, how all the men interacted with her and all, and she was very popular on the cruise. In fact, the guy who was over the whole dining thing invited her to dinner one night, and
wow.
It was after the whole dining room closed down, and she got to go in, and he had a table with candles and everything set up for her. So you can bet that's going to wind up on my story.
Gosh, I hope so. Isn't that exciting? That's wonderful. God, I love hearing these stories. Now you've got another one. So Gunner was the last.
Yeah, Gunner is the newest one, and Gunner is the president of the State Line Motorcycle Club, and their club borders Georgia and Alabama, and it kind of straddles the Chattahoochee River, which is the border between, part of the way between Georgia and Alabama, and it's a very, in the story, it's a club that has existed a long time. It's absolutely fictitious. It doesn't exist. I don't think we even have any motorcycle clubs in this part of Georgia. But there was a tragedy that happened here about 40 years ago, that there was a college student that went missing. And there was all kind of rumors about what happened to him and all. You know, you can imagine, over 40 years. And so about a month or so ago, they found his car. They had been looking for it for 40 years. And they found his car, and we still don't know exactly what happened, but it looks like it was just an accident. And so
it was just in a ditch somewhere, or?
It was in a creek, completely covered, and then all of a sudden you could find it. So there's a mystery there that I don't understand how it could have been there for 40 years and nobody saw it, because all of a sudden it's there and you can see it. And so the heroine that is going to be the thorn in Gunner's side is a long lost relative of this person who went missing, but she's also a mystery writer. And so she comes into town undercover to find out if this MC had something to do with her cousin's death. And so, you know, of course, my part of it will be fictitious, and it has nothing to do with the actual story, but
right.
It's
right.
another case of that what if,
right.
You know, type of thing. So I think in my notes, that I put in on Gunner once the people, once the readers find out what she's really up to, I'll mention this actual case where they can Google it and find out about the real details of it. I hadn't decided yet if I will or not.
Boy, that's awesome.
But this one is going to be written as MJ Stars, which is one of my pseudonyms because MJ writes racy stuff. I have a split personality when it comes to writing. I write as Melba Moon, which is Southern nostalgia and sweet romance. I write as MJ Flournoy, which is the romantic suspense and the sexy novellas and all. And then MJ Stars is the one who is dabbling with the really, really hot stuff, and we'll see how she does.
I cannot imagine you'd go into it to lose. I gotta say, I love your style. Now, as I said, I've only read the Harvester and didn't even know about this other stuff until we're talking here. And that is what Hella Vella is all about. It's about educating people on what Vella is, getting them out there, showing them this incredible talent like you are out there, and just letting them know that, man, anything you want to read, baby, it's out there, because the talent in writing out there for Vella could light up New York City. It is incredible.
There's some really great stories on there.
I've been so impressed.
They just blow me away. It's like, okay, I gotta go buy more tokens.
I think I'm on my 4th or 5th 1500 pack.
Yeah, yeah.
And there'll be plenty more that I want to read. Now, the next thing I want to know, MJ, is have you enjoyed your Vella experience, and has it been profitable, and has it worked real well for you?
I've enjoyed it. As far as profitable, oh my God, I've made more money, but it's the bonuses.
Yes.
But I've made more money with the bonuses than I have with over the year with KDP, with Unlimited. So yes, it's been profitable. My husband even sat up and took notice, which is saying a lot. He's like, "You're going to continue doing this, aren't you?"
Right? I think it's foolish not to, personally, but this writing style fits me to a treat. And have you found that did you have to like educate yourself on serial writing? Because some writers are out there saying that you've got to do it differently. It's got to be a cliffhanger every episode. It's got to be super fast moving, not a lot of description. And I don't necessarily agree with that. What do you feel?
I tend to write very action oriented anyway, even when I'm writing a sweet romance. And I haven't changed my style of writing and paid very much attention to that, because I'm in it to tell a story. You know, I'm a storyteller. That's my thing. You know, I have a dream. I have an idea that comes to me, and it won't let me go and let me be until I tell those characters stories. And if I don't do it right, they argue with me. You know, it's like, I always told you the voices in my head were real.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, we all benefit from it because we get these fantastic stories out of you. So keep it up, woman. Keep it up. Now, the next thing I want to know is, if you could change something about Vella, what would it be?
That's a hard one. I think I would like for there to be a way for the readers to communicate back with the notes.
Yep.
You
I
know,
hear that a lot.
maybe
that a lot.
maybe if they allowed you to have a page like you do with KDP, but have somewhere on there where your readers could communicate. Now, I do put all of my ways to contact me, in the notes. I put the Facebook and all of that, but I stay in Facebook jail all the time. And I do. I'm sorry. I stay in Facebook jail. I can't keep my mouth shut, and I have different opinions. And I posted a video of this little blue car that was trying to turn around on the cliff, and they limited my reach because they said it wasn't real. I'm like, I forwarded it from Facebook, so why are you going to punish me? But yeah. I found out some information about what might be going on there. Facebook is partially owned by a Russian company. Did you know that?
Not surprised. Not surprised.
This guy owns a big interest in Facebook. So that kind of tells me why they target me all the time.
Wow. Well, don't like what they're doing right now. Probably shouldn't be talking about it on our Hella Vella channel, but yeah, not impressed. Yeah, but okay, you want to hear what I would like?
Yes, definitely.
What I would like to see is a dedicated app. Okay, not just having to go to it through your browser, or Kindle. I would like to see a dedicated Vella app, so that you could just go to the app store, download the Vella app, and have nothing but Vellas to choose from. That I would like. Second thing I would like
that sounds good.
It is. Okay, so if you've never seen Radish fiction, that's the way they do it. And I'm not advertising Radish. Vella is my flow, but I do recognize good piece of software, people. And the second thing you can do out on Radish, and this I think is extremely important, is you can poke a little button and it'll read the story to you.
Oh yeah, Kindle Unlimited. Well, the Kindle will read to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that. See, so these are things that are not super far. I don't think probably super far away from us getting. So I think we both
you
have really.
You have to be within the Kindle app. Like I'm bad about going to Amazon, picking out something, clicking on it, loading it up, and reading it from within
the browser.
Amazon. Yeah, right. Within the browser.
I do that.
I do that all the time, but it won't read it that way. But if you go to the Kindle app and open it and open your book, then it will read it to you. Of course,
I wonder if it'll do Vellas. We're going to have to try that out.
Yeah, I'll have to try it out. Yeah.
I'll have to do the same. I wasn't aware that Kindle even had that. So that's exciting.
It's not a very sexy sounding voice, but if your eyes are bothering you, or you're tired, or or you're doing something else and want to put on headphones and listen, it will read it to you.
Well, that's not too bad. I'd like to see that, because a lot of folks like to have books going when they're doing other things.
Right.
Our lives have become just a series of moving one thing, next thing. And it just fits kind of. The next thing I want to ask you, since you are an experienced Kindle writer on the Unlimited program, have you seen any of your fandom want to come over and read you on Vella?
Not that I've noticed. I really, if they haven't told me that they did it, so I think that everybody that has read and has been following so far either picked up because they happened upon it, or came on some of the memes that I put up about it or whatever. I've been trying to post on Instagram about it and on Twitter and on Facebook. Of course, my limit on Facebook is in the toilet because they don't like me anyway. But I have been posting on, posting for the good while now on Twitter and on Instagram about those things. And I made some, well, you saw the little memes I made.
Yeah, I like them.
Some, yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I like them a lot. Because you got to have them now. You've got to have them now. Have to have graphics. You have to interact on social media. And that was the next thing I was going to ask you, but you kind of answered it. You sounds like your go-to is Instagram and Twitter because you stay in jail so much at Facebook.
I do. You know, it's like, yep, I'm in jail again, y'all.
Oh, well, never change.
Today is my birthday. And do you know what Facebook
Happy birthday.
Thank you. You know what they did? It'll say you have 91 birthday wishes and they won't show them to me. I looked and and they're not on my timeline. It says so-and-so right on your timeline. I go to my timeline, it's not there. So everybody that's watching this, if you sent me a birthday message, thank you so much for it because Facebook is not letting me see them.
Well, tell me what you're going to do for your birthday.
Well, first thing is talk about Hella Vella here with you. And then I think my hubby's going to cook dinner for us tonight. He went to the grocery store just a while ago. We don't get out very much because, you know, we've been sequestering for 2 years now.
Yes.
And so I think I'm going to read a book.
That's exciting.
And I'm going to try to do some writing, maybe work on Gunner. That would be exciting.
That would be.
And work on the Harvester and the Vampire's Ball.
Well,
I have a total, I think I have a total of 9 stories. One of them is my grandmother's story, and there's not very much to that because every time I try to write on it, I get upset. And so it's very poignant. But one of these days, I will get around to writing it.
Is that a Vella?
It is. The title of that one is Veil, Love Never Dies. And the reason it is so emotional is because my grandfather was my grandmother's second husband. And her first husband died in World War I.
Wow.
And I was a teenager before I even found out about him. And, you know, we were talking about there being more things on heaven and earth than what we see. When my grandmother was dying, I stayed with her at the hospital. And I woke up in the middle of the night one night and she was speaking French. Now, I had known that woman my entire life and I had never heard a word of French uttered from her lips.
Wow.
And so I just laid there and listened to her. And, you know, some of the phrases that she was saying, I could understand. And some of them I had no idea what it was. And so the next morning when she woke up, I asked her, I said, Mama, do you speak French? And she says, no. And I said, well, you were speaking French last night. And she said, oh, well, I was just thinking about my first husband because he went to France. And when he came home one time, he taught me a little bit of French. I am thoroughly convinced that he came for her.
She died that night?
She died the next day. But I am thoroughly convinced, and that happens in our family in particular, because when my mother passed away when she was 47, but she had been sick for a long time. She had lupus. And I was in her room one time, and she told me, she says, "Tell Daddy to come here." And so I went and got my daddy, and he came back there. And Mama looked at him and said, "Not him, my daddy." Well, my grandfather, her father, died when I was like 9 years old. And I told her, I said, Mama, Dada's not here. And she said, "Yes, he is. He's standing right outside the door, but he won't come in." So,
Wow.
those kind of things happen a lot in our family. And so
Well,
the older I get, the more I think about my grandmother and her first husband. And I really think that he was the love of her life, and he was killed in World War One.
right. Wow, what a story. I am so impressed. I'm so excited about all the stuff you write. I can't believe it. Now, everybody who's listening to this, you're going to find links down in the description of this video. You're going to find links to all of MJ's Vellas. She might even give me the naughty ones. You just don't know. And you're also going to find links to go out and look at her Kindle Unlimited stuff as well. As I've said, we have an incredible amount of talent out here on Vella, and I'm just so happy to be showcasing such an amazing powerhouse of an author like yourself. And I'm just super happy. I'm so happy you agreed to come and talk to me, and on your birthday too.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and the more readers that we get to support Vella, then the more likely we are to stay there and continue writing for them. I hate to say it, but I get discouraged very easily. And when I see those big zeros when I go to my dashboard, it just makes me so sad. So I really do appreciate all the support.
Well, and I am going to give you mine. I'm going to go discover your new stories that I didn't know anything about, that I'm very excited to hear about. And I know I'm going to love them as I've loved The Harvester. And you guys out there, give her stories a try. There'll be nothing but just clicking on them right down there in the description, and you'll be able to go and read the first 3 episodes for gratis. Okay? Because that's the way Vella works.
Yeah, and be sure to leave a like or a thumbs up, whatever you call it.
Exactly. Please leave some comments and join our channel. Subscribe to the channel, where we're going to have more authors out there. I do Lawless Reads, where we read sections of these wonderful stories and you can hear them. And man, we just got it going on out here. This is the place to find your favorite Vella authors. So MJ, thank you so much, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. This has been a blast. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.